They banned kids from the pool and locked the gates. Parents who fought back were fined by their own HOA. In the sun-drenched suburban neighborhood of Sunnyvale Estates, Texas, where summer days stretched long and hot, the community pool was the heart of family life. For years, it had been a place of laughter and memories where kids splashed in the shallow end, parents lounged with iced tea, and neighbors bonded over barbecues by the water. The pool wasn't just a luxury, it was a lifeline, especially for the families with young children who couldn't afford private pools or vacations. Among them was the Harper family, Jessica Harper, a 38-year-old nurse, her husband Ryan, a 40-year-old mechanic, and their two kids, 9-year-old Ethan and 6-year-old Mia. Every summer, the Harpers spent nearly every weekend at the pool, watching Ethan, perfect as cannonball, and Mia paddle with her floaties, their giggles echoing across the water. But in the summer of 2024, that joy came to a screeching halt. The Sunnyvale Estates Homeowners Association, led by 62-year-old Victor Grayson, a retired corporate executive with a penchant for control, decided the pool was getting out of hand. Victor, who lived in a pristine house overlooking the pool but rarely used it, claimed he'd received complaints about excessive noise from children. He argued that kids under 12 were too loud, too chaotic, and disrupted the peaceful environment for older residents. At a poorly attended HOA meeting in early June, Victor pushed through a new rule: no children under 12 allowed in the community pool, effective immediately. The decision was buried in the meeting minutes, and most residents didn't even know until it was too late. Jessica Harper found out the hard way. On a swelteringly unbearable Saturday morning, she packed a cooler with snacks, slathered sunscreen on Ethan and Mia, and headed to the pool, expecting another day of fun. But when they arrived, they were met with a shocking sight. A new sign on the gate reading, "No children under 12 allowed," and a burly security guard hired by the HOA standing watch. Ethan, clutching his inflatable shark, looked up at his mom with confusion. Mia burst into tears, her tiny voice pleading, "Why can't we swim, Mommy?" Jessica tried to reason with the guard, explaining that the pool was the only place her kids could cool off in the 100-degree heat, but he just shrugged and pointed to the sign. Defeated, the Harpers trudged home, their day ruined. Word spread quickly, and parents across Sunnyvale Estates were livid. Jessica posted about the incident on the neighborhood's Facebook group, sharing a photo of the sign and her crying kids with the caption, "The HOA banned our children from the pool. This isn't right." The post exploded, with dozens of families sharing similar stories. Maria Gonzalez, a single mom of 3, commented that her 10-year-old son had been turned away the day before, despite being a strong swimmer. David Kim, a father of twins, wrote that his kids had been looking forward to their swim lessons at the pool all year, only to be locked out. The outrage grew, and parents started organizing, determined to fight back. Jessica, Maria, and David formed a coalition called Parents for Pool Access and drafted a petition to repeal the rule, gathering over 150 signatures in just 2 days. They demanded a meeting with the HOA board, hoping to negotiate a compromise, maybe designated hours for kids or noise limits. But Victor Grayson wasn't interested in talking. At the meeting, held in the community center with standing room only attendance, Victor sat at the head of the table, his arms crossed, and his expression unyielding. "The rule stands," he declared. "Children under 12 are a liability. They scream, they splash, they make a mess. If you don't like it, you can move." When Jessica pointed out that the pool was a shared amenity they all paid for through HOA fees, Victor smirked and said, "Then you should have read the bylaws more carefully." The parents didn't back down. The next weekend, they staged a peaceful protest at the pool, bringing their kids in swimsuits and holding signs that read, "Let our kids swim," and "HOA doesn't own our summer." They chanted, they sang, and they let their kids blow bubbles outside the gate, hoping to send a message. Local news stations picked up the story, with a reporter interviewing Jessica as Mia clung to her leg, asking, "When can I swim again?" The segment aired on the evening news, sparking outrage across Texas. The hashtag number #LetKidsSwim trended on X, with thousands of users calling the HOA's rule discriminatory and cruel. But Victor and the HOA retaliated swiftly. The following Monday, every family that had participated in the protest received a $1,500 fine for disturbing the peace. To make matters worse, the HOA installed a heavy-duty padlock on the pool gate, effectively barring everyone, not just kids, from using it. A new sign went up, "Pool closed until further notice." Victor issued a statement claiming the closure was temporary and due to safety concerns. But residents knew it was punishment. The pool, once a bustling hub of community life, sat empty under the scorching sun, its water turning murky from neglect. The parents escalated their fight. Jessica, Maria, and David hired a lawyer, Sarah Mitchell, who specialized in HOA disputes. Sarah uncovered that the HOA's rule violated fair housing laws, as it discriminated against families with young children, a protected class. She also found that the pool closure breached the HOA's own bylaws, which guaranteed residents access to shared amenities. The lawsuit filed against the HOA sought to repeal the rule, reopen the pool, and waive all fines plus damages for emotional distress. The case drew national attention, with headlines like "HOA bans kids from pool, locks out entire community," and "Texas parents fight for their children's summer." The legal battle stretched over 3 months, with the courtroom packed with families, some holding pool floaties as a symbolic protest. Sarah presented evidence of the rule's discriminatory impact, including testimonies from parents about how the ban had affected their kids' mental health. One child had developed anxiety after being publicly turned away. Jessica took the stand, her voice breaking as she described Mia's nightmares about the mean pool man who wouldn't let her swim. Victor, testifying for the HOA, showed no remorse, claiming the rule was for the greater good and that children's noise lowered property values. The judge, a father himself, wasn't impressed. In September 2024, the court ruled in favor of the parents, striking down the rule as illegal and ordering the HOA to reopen the pool immediately, drop all fines, and pay $25,000 in damages to the affected families. The crowd outside the courthouse cheered as Jessica and Ryan lifted Ethan and Mia onto their shoulders, promising them a pool day soon. The next weekend, the pool gate was unlocked and families flooded in, the air filled with the sound of splashing and laughter once more. News cameras captured the moment, with hashtag #LetKidsSwim trending again, this time with celebration. But the victory came with a shadow. Victor Grayson refused to resign, despite the ruling. At the next HOA meeting, he doubled down, introducing new rules that required noise permits for pool use and banned toys like floaties, claiming they were safety hazards. Some residents, emboldened by the win, called for a vote to remove Victor, but he had enough loyalists on the board to block it. Jessica and the other parents worried about future retaliation. Rumors swirled that Victor was planning to drain the pool entirely under the guise of maintenance. Sunnyvale Estates remained a battleground, with families fighting to hold on to their small slice of summer joy. And the question lingered, how far would the HOA go next?